All right, 100K track. How's it going?
What's the word, Thunderbird? What's good with you?
Hey man, grinding man like you, man. I see you. You stay moving. You stay grinding.
Yes, man. You know that. Gotta be on 100K for sure. 100 miles per hour.
Well, that's what it is, man. Well, I'd like to kind of just get into your whole story and get to know you and everything. This is our first time, so a lot of people, a lot of my audience might not know. What I'm saying, exactly who you are and what you do. So, can you kind of tell them, maybe a little bit about how you grew up and how you got into the music business?
Right. Yeah. So, well, I'm from Broward County, Florida. You know what I'm saying? Raised. But I was born in Haiti. The country. I came here when I was like 5 years old. So, from just childhood, from my childhood, it's just pretty much the regular American story. You know what I'm saying? Single parent house. You know what I'm saying? No dad, you know what I'm saying, in jail, just trying to figure it out. Played sports in high school and stuff like that. And I got into music actually at 16 in high school. I was just, in a group doing music, rapping and stuff like that. It was I was on the artist side first before I got into the management. But, you know what I'm saying, just involved in music period from just high school all the way to like 24. Then I stopped actually rapping and started doing like the behind the scenes, did the clothing line, Snappy Gang apparel with Kodak. Got you know, I I was in the Snappy Gang umbrella doing management for his brother John Wicks and his homeboy at that time, 1804 Jackboy. So and from there it just went to just signing, more artists like Melly, Hot Boy, Vaughn, and so and so.
Well, let's take it back a little bit. What was it like for you, like in high school and growing up? Like what kind of student were you?
Like the class clown, just not even trying to be intentionally, just happened to be that. Just certain things I would say or certain, what I'm saying, way I would move. Just people find funny, and then I'd get in trouble. I had to go to the after school programs and stuff like that. But other than that, though, I tried my best in the class and stuff like that. Always, wanted to graduate. I wasn't on no like, oh, I'm not trying to graduate. Hell no, I was trying to graduate. And then I started playing sports towards like freshman year. So then I got a little bit more focus on school because I had to keep a GPA to play sports. So sports was like the reason why I actually fully graduated because I had to have a certain GPA to even play. You know.
Now you were rapping and everything. Going to the studio takes money. Were you
Mhm.
working? How are you kind of, moving around?
Um, Honest truth, I was doing like a little bit of everything. I was working. Then I used to go like steal sports equipments and stuff like that from like Sports Authority and like what I'm saying, sports like places, stores that sell like stuff like Under Armour gloves. So I was actually just hustling that to the football team, stuff like that. Making money on the side.
And you graduate.
Yeah, I graduated for sure. I graduated, definitely
And
graduated.
what'd you do after school?
Nothing, just music.
That's it.
Yeah,
Straight to the
yeah.
studio.
Because by the time I graduated at 18, I actually like got hot in my city as a rapper. So I had a hot song. I had a song called "Ride That Dick" for the girls, and they was just going crazy for it. Like I used to get booked for shows and parties and stuff like that, Sweet 16s, prom. So right after high school, I was fortunate enough to just make money on through music and stuff like that. I had I tried different things in between when stuff slowed down, like hustling and stuff like that. Then, tried a little bit of the robbing, really tried everything. Just tried to get it working, all the above. But mostly I was just making an income off music. That was always the main income.
Okay, and at some point you decide to make the transition from an artist to a manager to more behind the scenes.
Right.
How was that transition for you?
From at that time it wasn't hard because stuff had died down a little bit because from 18 to like 22, 23, I was kind of, that's when everything was going good. and then from there it was like 23 to 24. It slowed down, so I was already like transitioning into like throwing parties and doing different things just to bring revenue and stuff like that. But the transition wasn't that hard because I ended up linking with Kodak Black, and he was popping at that time. He was getting up there. I think he was 16, turning 17. He just dropped Project Baby. He was going into Heart of the Projects. That whole run with Institution and everything. So he was buzzing up. So I just made that decision to just get behind the scene. I decided to do the merchandise with him, the Sniper Gang apparel, just to get some money, just to, stay around a positive movement. And that transition just led to doing more, like management under the Sniper Gang umbrella, just using all my resources from an artist and just from what I used to do, just try to apply it to his structure.
How did you meet Kodak?
I met Kodak. Me and Kodak from the same city. Like we're from Broward County. You know what I'm saying? He's from Pompano. I'm from Fort Lauderdale, so it's not too far. Not far from each other. So we've been around each other because when I was like performing at clubs, he used to perform at the clubs too. You feel me? Especially with like certain bookings, we both was out there from Pompano and Fort Lauderdale, and then from there we just mutually just, just like started to know each other. Then I got a feature from him for like $500, and then that feature turned into me booking him for 2 shows out of town and in town, performing with him. And it just kept it going and stuff like that. And then it just grew into, more into a genuine relationship, and we added some business to it.
What were those early times like with Kodak? Because, Kodak has a pretty wild reputation. You see him on camera, and, he looks like he has a lot of fun when he's out.
Yeah. Shit, it was always a good time. You know what I'm saying? Definitely had to be on point. We always moved smart. You always had security. You always had a lot of people that's there to care for him. You know what I'm saying? I was like always move like with his brothers and like everybody else. So, you know what I'm saying? I was never too far from like the main event and stuff like that. Because, whenever I move, I would literally already be at his house. So I just go straight when they go, type stuff like that.
Is there any wild tour stories or anything that you remember that you could talk about?
It was more shows at that time. He wasn't doing 2 tours because it was early. He was doing more shows, like actual bookings and stuff like that. But shit, it's always some shit going on for sure. I can't recall it on top of my head, but definitely there's some good moments. It was nothing too wild. It was nothing too crazy, but it was just a good time. It's just always a good time.
Okay. So you're managing Kodak.
No, I was never managing Kodak.
Oh, you didn't manage Kodak?
No, I didn't manage Kodak. Me and Kodak had the clothing line together, Sniper Gang Apparel. And then I managed under his Sniper Gang brand, his artists, like his brother John Wicks, his friend, his Jackboy, 1804 Jackboy. You know what I'm saying? But I never personally managed Kodak. He already had like a manager, and he was signed to Atlantic. So I was just focused on his personal brand, Sniper Gang, not per se him, the artist.
Okay. You're working with his clothing line. You're managing Jackboy. And how is all that going? How long do you stay there?
It was like a good 2 years. Good 2 years, probably a little bit more, but definitely a good 2 years. Cause it was kind of short, because that's when like he caught a charge, Jackboy caught a charge. A lot of like everybody was just, what I'm saying, was going to jail. Just stuff was just going on. It was just a lot of situations. You feel me?
So is this when Kodak was in jail for like a couple years or a year or so?
Yeah.
Right. Before Trump pardoned him?
It was before Trump pardoned him, but it was like, yeah, he did like a year or two. He did like a year or two. Yeah.
What's up? This is Cam Capone. We got more content like this coming soon. So hit that like button, subscribe, and stay locked in to Cam Capone news.